What's up everyone, we are back with another video, and today we are talking about Nat hundreds, and we are doing the Elliot Wave Theory. And the only thing we're going to be doing this time, we're going to be reading this bullish trend and understand what has been going on all along and how you should have approached it up until where it is right now, right? And understand which wave we're currently making, and what to wait for and what to expect. So let's dive in it very quickly. As you can see, it is just bullish from this day 16 June 2022, right? It has started to be bullish and went all the way up there. So the first thing we know is that we have 5 waves, and they go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? This is what to expect. So we're going to be reading this as we actually see it over here. It happened. So I'm going to start numbering my waves. First of all, I'm going to point out the corrections, right? I'm going to take out the correction. In fact, I'm going to use this or this instead. I'm going to make our corrections pretty much clear and visible so that we can understand what has been happening, right? So this is what has been happening. We had this correction after this impulse over here. After this impulse, it's made an impulse here at the beginning of a trend. It went up and then made a correction to the sideways, and we all know the corrections are the structures. The form of a structure of a correction goes like this: ABC, and then it is when you go to buy it or to sell it if it is a bearish trend, right? So if it is now visible to your eyes, you can now interact with it as an ABC pattern. You could have tried to buy it from the first time coming down here, like buy it over here, but because the structure is not clear into your eyes as an ABC structure, it would have been tricky. We are trying to avoid that by any means, right? We need an ABC structure that is visible in our eyes. So we would have tried to engage around these dates when it came back again and again, you know what I'm saying? So as you can see, it did a pretty much clear ABC, and then you would have been tried to go in and buy it, buying the wave 3, which is the longest wave in the market, right, according to the Elliot Wave Theory. So as you can see, it's 1, 2, 2 is made of an ABC pattern because it's a correction, right? And then you need your 3. First of all, we predicted 3 to be around at this point, and then 4 somewhere over here. I'm going to take out my measurement so we can know where 4 should be and why we predicted 3 to this point, right? So we take our FIB extension, right? FIB based extension, right? And then from the beginning of the trend up to where 1 terminated, and then we take the termination point of the correction, right, over here. This is the lowest point because the correction is all this one, right? So this is the lowest point of the correction, and then 1618 is the minimum length required for wave 3 to complete, right? The minimum length required for wave 3 over here, 1.618. So we wanted it to turn at this point so that we can have wave 3, right, so that we can make wave 4 from this point, from this price, right? So we wanted wave 3 to be here, but unfortunately, as you can see, it is a little bit higher now. Let me change the degree of these waves. Let me change the degree to be intermediate, right? Now we're good. So now we want the termination of wave 4. If this have turned over here to be 3. So where 4 would have been here. So we will take this where it's actually terminated, because we predicted this might be 3 and then we wanted 4 to be here. As we all know, 4 terminates at 8.2. That is the last support for wave 4. You could like take 23%, it's still acceptable, but the last support for wave 4 is 38.2 according to the Fibonacci, according to the Elliot Wave Theory, right? So even this one, we can say this one is 4 because these are also acceptable percentages. So 4 is over here, and then we're making 5 now, right? We're making 5. We're about to complete the entire cycle. But I really do want our 4 to be visible, like an actual correction that is visible. This is a correction, yes, but it is so little and tiny compared to the degree of the entire trend. So we need something that is visible in our eyes. So that is why we predicted it to be here, because it would have been some kind of a correction that is visible into our eyes. So but then we understood why this is not happening. Remember the term monoWaves that we talked about. So this is not true, right? Let's take away this, and let's take away this because it never came back here. So why did this happen? Why it turned over here? Remember, each and every time the graph has to start from a certain point, it restarts the waves, called monoWaves, which build up the entire actual wave that we want. Like in this point, in this case, if we take it from here up to this point, we wanted wave 3, right? We want wave 3. We're actually making wave 3, right? So wave 3 is actually made of 5 monoWaves, which will build up the tree that we're waiting for. So this is why we let me remove this so that everything going to be okay. Let me not remove it actually. So why did we turn over here? Remember, at this point over here where 2 terminated, right? Where 2 correction, the correction terminated over here, right? So each and every time it has to restart the waves, come down, make 5 waves, right? Like this. Let me do a little bit of the demonstration. Something like this, right? Something like this, making wave 3, and then this is when we have our 4, something like this, so that it can align itself with these ones. But it did not happen like this. But why? So let's understand it. So monoWaves are actually not complete, so we need to complete these monoWaves within wave 3, right? Within this intermediate wave 3. So I'm gonna try to remove these waves for now, right? So that we can read this trend, this bullish trend from this point, right? So let me put a horizontal line where we actually terminated. So wave 3, we're making wave 3, right? So let's read wave 3. I'm gonna go to 1 hour. So that we can understand this. Right? So it's going to be clean and clear. You're going to understand why we didn't come back to making that 4 that was over somewhere here that we wanted. So we all know from a starting point we will have an impulse, and then a correction as wave 2, and then an impulse as wave 3, and then a correction as wave 4, and then a 5th wave, the final wave, right? So understand this, that right now what we have is, from this point we have an impulse which is reasonably clear, and then a correction is 1, 2, right? And then an impulse is with 3. So this is what has been happening. We needed to complete these monoWaves. First, right? I'm gonna change the gray here so that it can align itself with the fact that it is the monoWaves. So I'm hoping it is getting clear and clear why. We're gonna do the measurement so that you can see using the Fibonacci. So it's going to be minor, and let's keep it as red, right? So this is what have been happening. The reason why we didn't come down here to make this 4 that we were looking for, but instead we turned over here into completing this. So if we do the measurement, wave 2 must terminate at least at 50% or 60%, right, or beyond that, but not 38. If it terminates at 38, it is not wave 2, right? So as you can see, okay, I'm going to get rid of this because it is on our way right now. Yes, we're good. So as you can see, wave this terminated at 50%, right, which means this is wave 2 of the mono waves making wave 3, right? Pretty much clear right now. So 1, 2, 3, which we are making, and then 4 needs to terminate at 38.2, right? 38.2 or 23%, right? So if we start over here at the beginning of wave 3 and then at the end of wave 3, we can actually find out that wait, why did I from the beginning of 3, and now we are there at 38.2, right, or 23% or beyond 23%, but not exactly 30. But if it's all acceptable as it's already ranging from 23 or beyond 23, but not beyond 38%. But it sometimes can go beyond 38%. It doesn't matter, but as long as it doesn't touch 50% and it doesn't touch the top of wave 1, it will still hold true. At this point, this was just over here, so this was our last support, and then it actually turned over here, the acceptable prices. So that is why all this didn't happen. Wait, why did I remove that? I want to remove the fib. So we're actually making these mono waves, right? These mono waves, so they need to get complete before we actually make that wave 4 that we're looking for, the higher degree waves. So I'm going to put them back right now. I'm going to put them back. This is the waves that are driving everything, right? These ones are driving everything. So maybe at the completion of it, we're going to be having our 4 and 5, right? Let's change the degree to intermediate, and then let's change the color to black so that they can align with these corrections over here. So we're good, right? So this is what have been happening, and this is why we didn't, from this point, we didn't go all the way down here to make this 4 that we were looking for, but instead we need to complete the mono waves first before, because the mono waves are actually a signal of what is about to happen, right? So if they get complete, they signal something, but if they are not complete, they're telling you that there is still room for this graph to keep rising and rising and rising. So this is why it has been rising the whole last week, the whole last month, and all that. So if we complete this 5, I don't know, maybe we're gonna complete. So we need to do the measurements for 5 to get complete. So we do take off fib extension again from this starting point of 3, and then at the termination of 3, and then with 4 the termination point, and then we need 61.8 to complete. This is the minimum length required if you use the fib extension, but sometimes you can use the length of 1, right? But I don't believe that it's going to take this entire length up to that point. No, I don't believe that. I think somehow over here we're going to be having our little retracement, and then to make 4, and then we're gonna have more volume and energy to keep going higher and higher, right? So it is going to be 61.8, right? That we're going to take. It is going to be 61.8 that we're going to take. That will tell us that okay, we can now have our 3, because we are terminating our mono waves that are making wave 3, so that we can make our wave 4 and then we go higher and higher, but we still need to measure our wave 4, because I just randomly put this over here because of this support that was created over here. So it is already a support. So if it aligns itself with 30.2, it's going to be the one. It's going to be the one. It's going to be, if we take the starts and then where we think it's gonna terminate, let's remove this fib extension. As you can see, it's aligned itself with 38.2%. So it's a support that created the latest supports. So you can always buy here. I mean, not always, usually it creates some supports and then it will test these supports and then go higher and higher and higher into completing this actual wave that we're looking for. So let's measure our 5 right now. This 5, if we're really going to be turning over here using these prices, so we're going to take our Fibonacci extension from where to actually terminated, what is the lowest price to, it's over here for these intermediate waves to this black 3, and then we're gonna put it at the bottom. But you will always do this when it is now happened, right? We're just doing it so that you can understand something today. 61.8 is going to be over here, right? So we're going to take another different way, right? Because remember, the minimum length also required for wave 5 must be equal, not must be, usually it's sometimes equal to wave 1. So we're gonna take this distance, and then try to align it with what we have done over here already. So if it starts over here, and then let's see, it's gonna be somewhere over here. So wave 1 says over here, but the fib extension says over here. So we're going to see, and we're going to be checking it out as it updates itself. But this is the bullish trend that we've been dealing with. So you need to understand the mono waves. They will be signaling that we're about to change a direction if they get finished. If they are not finished, they mean something. They mean that we can still go higher and higher and higher and higher. Yes, I think we're good. About NAS 100. We understand what has been happening. This is the correction over here. We need our last, as you can see, it got tested over here. So we coincidentally, it is the coincidence that testing it, we also made wave 2 of the mono waves, right? So they all align themselves perfectly fine. It aligns itself with the correction, with the wave 2, and with the test of this correction, this huge correction that's got broken over here. And then if it turns over here, it's going to be something like this. Let me where is this? There's so many things over here. Here you are. So if it climbs up to this point, it can give us this correction maybe, and then this is when you're good to go there, right? As an ABC correction, it needs to be visible, each and every time. It needs to be clean and clear, visible, so that you can interact with it. You cannot interact with something that is just straight down like this. That's sometimes it's going to be like an impulse, right? It's going to be confusing you. You won't know whether it's an impulse or a correction, so you need to let it go. If it just straight down, it will come up in the form of a correction if it's indeed trying to fall more and more. But once it does is an ABC type of a correction, it is now telling you that indeed we are making 4 and then 5, and then we need to complete everything, right? So it will be something like this. If we're not mistaken, it will be something like this. But we're going to be watching it, and we're going to be updating each other along the way, and we're good. So thank you. We are done. Going to see you on another video. If you're new to this channel, please hit the like button and subscribe. Yeah, this is very, very helpful. We're going to see you. Goodbye.